Live.
Thank you, Jody. Good evening and welcome to General Council for March 11th, 2025. Can we go around and do the attendance roll? For tonight, Councillor Amos Key is off on bereavement. Can we go around starting? Go ahead, Carrie. Can you use your mic, please?
Carrie Bombury, present.
Helen Miller, present. Audrey Paulus Bobbery, elected councillor, here.
Dale Bombury, present.
Dean Hill, present.
Greg Fraser.
Melba Thomas, present. Scannell.
Cynthia Jameson. And I know that Hazel was going to go on Zoom, but she's having difficulty to join us tonight.
And I'm here, Elena.
Yeah, and Elena, she's here on Zoom also. And Leslie Green is not here. So let's go to identification of media. I don't see any. So let's go to number 3. Let us take a moment of silence and pay respect to those that we have recently lost in our community. Let's take a moment. Thank you. Let's go to number 4, adoption of the agenda. Any deletions or to the agenda or additions? Any moved by Audrey, seconder? Second by Carrie, all in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 5, there's no delegations. So we'll go to number 6, adoption of the general council minutes of March 11th, 2025. Is there a mover for the minutes? Moved by Helen, seconder? Second by Melba, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Oh, go ahead, Cynthia.
Is that the right date on there? Adopt the general council minutes of March 11th?
Thank you. So those are for the council minutes for February 11th.
Because we didn't have a meeting in February 25th.
Yeah.
And today is the 11th.
Yeah.
Well, real quick.
So it's moved and seconded. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 7. My updates. Apologies for this delay announced, but on Saturday, February 8th, I was Master of Ceremonies at the annual Community Treasures Awards Banquet to recognize outstanding students and community members. Congratulations to 25 high school students with high averages from their respective schools, with averages ranging from 81.33% to 97.67%. The Ruby Sears Award went to Gajija Howie, Hill McNaughton. The Wilma General Memorial Award went to Ryan Burnham. Community Treasures were Kevin L. Martin and the Group of 6, Dalen Dockstader, Imani Minton, Maya Warder, Frankie Warner, Lillian Miracle, Sydney Thomas, selected for their stewardship in and around the Six Nations community. Congratulations to all the winners. I wish to thank the community members for bringing your concerns to me. My office has helped to advocate for support for our elders in getting access and resources, NIHB benefits, and the 911 complaints process have been identified and shared. Illegal dumping on March 5th, my office met with community stakeholders with a goal to expand our collective efforts to stop illegal dumping on the territory. As a reminder, if you see or suspect any trucks dumping waste in our community, please call the Six Nations Police or my office immediately and report the location. A company name, and a license plate. On March 5th, I provided welcoming words to those attending the 3-day National Advanced Indigenous People in STEM conference in Toronto, where students and professionals had a chance to gather and connect with other attendees from Canada and in the United States. There was over 400 in attendance. The latest edition of the Chief and Council Political Update has been printed and is now being distributed in the community. Please keep an eye out for our latest edition. And happy March break to everyone. Please watch out for our children playing. Please slow down and help keep everyone safe. Also, too, the 51st annual Little NHL tournament kicked off on Sunday and continues until Thursday. This year, there are a total of 276 teams registered for the tournament, and with 6 nations represented in 28 teams in various categories. Good luck to all our teams in Markham this week. Is there a mover to accept as information? Yep, moved by Audrey. Is there a seconder? Second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Go ahead, Audrey. Can you
Just to let the community know that I attended Little Treasures celebrations as well as Greg Fraser, and I helped give out all the education awards as well. And Greg gave out the Ruby Sears Smith Award. Right, Greg?
yes, thank you for that. Let's go to number 8. Updates from committees: Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee. Go ahead, Dale.
I know our meeting's not till next week, but just in, I guess what's going on in the community, I know a lot of people are aware of the potholes that are occurring, and I know we had a warm spell, we thawed out a little bit, and we got cold again, and then lots of snow, so the frost is coming out, and it is pushing the edges and concrete or the pavement up. So I guess a little patience. I know the roads guys, Ken and his crew, are out there repairing potholes. But if there's any potholes that you're aware of and they haven't been there, then call Public Works office at 519-445-4242, and then just put it on file that you've noticed this large pothole, and they'll attend to it. So. But again, just be careful out there and be mindful of the potholes and drive slow. So next general council, we'll have a more of a fulsome report after our committee meeting, which is coming up on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Question, go ahead, Melba.
How is that gonna happen, Dale? We have so many potholes, one after the other. They're really close together, and as you said, some of them are quite deep. Would it be, uh, I guess, better to resurface? Like, our guys are gonna be out there just like this constantly. How is that gonna work?
I mean, for the time being, that's pretty well all they can do is fix the holes while they're there. And I guess in regards to a major resurfacing, yeah, I know it's a little costly, and we can determine that on Thursday as well to see if Mike has any detailed plans on wanting to resurface some of those roads. But I mean, the frost is the frost. It's a powerful force and it's tough to deal with. All we can do is try and deal with when they pop up or the holes sink in, I guess. But if there are any unusual, just call Public Works. I know I've called them a couple times when I've seen a couple of large ones, and they've been out to attend to those potholes. Thank you.
Follow up.
Yeah, follow up. I don't know who travels all over the reserve like I do. Almost every road, Mohawk, Cayuga, way toward New Credit, all over. So if, as I'm saying, the people who are gonna be filling potholes, you're gonna be there a week just on one corner to the next. So hopefully we have some other alternative that, will work a little better. Thanks.
Yeah, and they're out there working, so please drive careful. I know some people like to get places in a hurry, but when you see guys out there working, please slow down so that they can attend to it. And driving fast, hitting a pothole could cause damage to your vehicle or your tires. So please be careful, slow down, and the roads crew are out there doing their best to fill them as required. Thank you.
Can I have a mover to accept the committee chair's report? Moved by Audrey, second by Dean. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 2, Lands and Resource, Wealth and Economy Committee. The chair? Oh, go ahead, Cynthia.
Thanks. Yeah, this particular committee met today, and it's somewhat of an odd committee. Odd in that we've had a trial trying to put these committees together, and when they were put together, it was agreed we would revisit them in 6 months' time, and that happened last fall. And the oddity with this particular committee, it was amalgamated that there was a wealth and economy committee, and it was amalgamated with lands resource committee. And the oddity of those two is actually the lands resource, odd in that it had been decided that there would be a committee. Well, we were just getting together because each of the committees have to draft terms of reference and a mandate and send to council for approval. And we were going about that, and then it was decided there need not be a lands resource committee. It would report to full council. That was fine. Then that decision was changed again, which resulted in, as I say, remember some of the committees when everyone was asked to do that survey, and resulted then in its resurfacing once more. So what we had been working on was there were already a terms of reference and mandate for wealth and economy, so they just had to relook that and everybody agree. But we had to develop a part of that would represent lands resources, and we had done that, and we didn't have the full team because part of the team, Lonnie, Phil, and Taylor, had been in attendance in Toronto to hear. Remember the expert witnesses who were in bad health, not good health, and it was agreed that their testimony could be given. So they were away for that, but today we finally had the full group there, and that was recommended by the committee. That is the Lands, Resources, Wealth and Economy Committee, and so that will be coming to council for approval. We just had that meeting today. Also in our meeting today, we had a presentation, we had a delegation being the Cannabis Commission, and it was pretty well a whole new group as far as I'm aware. That is, the new chairperson is Jamie Lee Baxter. Carl Hill, of course, has been aboard for the last few years. Leslie Paulus and Lori Froman were in attendance, and they did a presentation, and it was recommended also to come forward. It will be recommended to come forward, but what is needed, they had identified, was remember we have a memorandum of understanding with the Cannabis Commission. That is, there is a cannabis law and cannabis regulations, and under that, the authority to operate according to that law and regulations is designated to the Cannabis Commission. Council's role is to essentially, if any changes are required, to make the changes to the law or the regulations. Another requirement is for council to fund the operation until they're self-sufficient by way of the various fees that they are, once they met out licenses, and there's certain fees attached. So once they're self-sufficient, council is off the hook. It's right in that particular cannabis law. So in their presentation to the committee today, though, they provided a projected budget. As I said, that will be coming forward to council, but prior to that, it has to be an updated memorandum of understanding. That is, the Cannabis Commission is an incorporated body. So incorporated bodies generally are not answerable to a body such as a council because they're incorporated. However, their bridge between council and the Cannabis Commission is this memorandum of understanding. And it was undertaken back a few years ago already, just with the understanding it was a whole brand new endeavor. And until they got on their feet, that would be, as I call it, say, a bridge. So that will also be coming forward to council with recommendations for someone to assist them on that. But that was, we were pretty rushed today because we're going to be losing lack of quorum. So I said, everybody speak really quickly. So we managed actually to get through our agenda by just shortly before 11 because people had to go off into other meetings. But that's my report. I don't know if Elena's online. She's part of the committee. Elena, Greg Fraser, Dean, Amos is off on bereavement tonight, but Amos, I'm the chair and Amos is the co-chair. I don't know if any of the committee members wanted to add to that at all.
Did anyone want to add from the committee? Okay. Question. Go ahead, Helen. Then Audrey.
So, did they indicate how soon they're gonna be self-sufficient? So we don't have to fund them no more?
They have a projected budget and they've laid out, they have a draft for the requirements for the next 3 years, but that will be coming forward to council and we can ask them. I know that's an ongoing concern. And part of the concern is there hasn't been continuity that is in the membership. It appears like they get members and they don't serve that long a period, I don't believe, and then they resign and then we get new members. And part of that is that whole learning curve when you have someone new to a particular entity.
Audrey.
Yeah, I have a concern in the direction that the Cannabis Commission has gone in recently. And that is just before we went into our new elections, they came in and asked to have the strength of the cannabis THC increased from 25 milligrams to 2,000 milligrams. And that is really heavy duty THC. So they wanted it 4,000. And I spoke up and I objected to it. I objected to the 2,000 as well, but it still did pass. And I think that's one of the worst mistakes that we've ever made as a council, to do that, because we have so many drug issues, drug and alcohol addictions on this reserve, as well as we have a lot of mental health. And so now it even puts more strain on our mental health workers and services. So I think that guardrails need to be up so that they do not continue to raise that THC level astronomically. Only people that profit off that are the people who are selling it. So no, that's my word of caution. Thank you.
Go ahead.
If I could, Audrey, in the presentation, like I said, these folks are relatively new, but we were impressed by them. They've seemed in a short while to um, review their own terms of reference and their areas of responsibility. And one of the things they're identifying various issues that they can address. And one of the things, not saying it's an issue, but they will be reviewing, they're very aware it's the council that can make any amendments to the law and regulations. So they're conducting, we understand, a review and probably will be likely coming forward with any of their recommendations. And you'd certainly have that opportunity then to raise it with them.
A follow up, Audrey, then Melba.
Yeah, just to know, let you know that this was not the same committee that came in with that request. There's only two people that I think that were still on that committee, previous committee. So I'm welcoming this new committee. It seems like they will probably take this to new places, but we really have to watch that THC level.
Melba.
Yeah, just Cynthia, how many of our members have licenses through the commission?
I do believe they,
Can you just use your mic?
sorry,
Thank
when they did the presentation, that whole thing will be coming forward. I don't recall if they said how many. Do you, any of you that were there recall, Greg?
Yeah, they said there were 6 and there were 8 suppliers, I believe. I believe 8 suppliers and 6 vendors. Just to Audrey's point about it was that Canada's cannabis law was 20 milligrams of the ingredient, active ingredient, THC. That was one of the reasons why um, Health Canada has been reluctant, I guess, to accept our cannabis law, even though we did have a review with Canada. As they reviewed our cannabis law, they wanted us to harmonize. We did not want to harmonize because we wanted to maintain our sovereignty and our control over cannabis on our territory. That is probably one of the reasons why, and we're still working on banking and the banking issues. We're working hard on that because we know that's a concern. And of course, we're also looking at other ways of seeing if we can still get our cannabis law accepted by Health Canada.
Okay, can I have a mover to accept the chair's update? Moved by Dale, second by Carrie, all in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. The community committee, go ahead, Dean.
Thank you. So our meeting is going to be for tomorrow morning, but we can update what happened for the last meeting in February. One of the biggest things that did come through our committee was our delegation, the Six Nations Fair Board. We've done talks with the Fair Board to then discuss what the ask is going to be for council, but also how they're going to increase and continue to improve the fair from expanded upon last year. Because I personally thought last year was a really huge improvement with all the new additions they did add, you know, like the petting zoo and those type of things and the exotic animals. So that's really cool. They did say that they're going to bring more on. They are building good relationships as well with certain vendors once again. So I like the direction this new board is going into. I know last year I did ask for some more of the financials about for their request of money, and because they were still fairly new and getting everything established, that's what they're going to be providing for me and council this year. So that will be coming to the table for all of us to review, just to kind of track the statistics and to see how much of an emerging fair Six Nations is becoming within kind of the agriculture area around, you know, when the fair time happens. It's getting pretty big, and it's gaining a lot of traction and popularity. I know they did also start more of their social media presence and website presence as well. So they are growing rapidly, and that is going to be another, I can see it being another successful event this coming year when the fall time comes. So I know all those details will be coming into council, most likely the next political liaison meeting we have. And that's fairly everything as of right now. I do know this was already touched upon as well about the CHRT as well. That did get ratified, and we did kind of pass that motion as well. So that has moved on. I know our committee did the work it needed to do through our social services to get our child welfare vote in when it came to that vote with the Chiefs of Ontario. So that's pretty well everything as of right now. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dale.
Yeah, just I guess further with the Fair Board and their plans and goals and visions they have. One of the things I know they're having discussions now with the some community members in relation to trying to or wanting to bring back the powwow. So that's one of their goals as well. Another issue they're looking at is bringing back wrestling. So they're looking at wanting to bring that back just to draw more people into the fair, and so that's one of their goals as well. So they're having discussions and I guess negotiating whatever they got to do to try and make that a reality. So they are doing that as well. Thank you.
Nice. Helen?
Yeah, I think the only way they're going to get the fair board, the only way they're going to get the fair back up to what it was is food. There's no food. Ever since Cheryl Henhock said they had to have that food service certificate, we have no food. There was only like a couple of booths there last year. You know, you stand in line for an hour. waiting to get a hamburger. Yeah, you got to get the food back in there. The longhouses and everything. Look at all the food that we used to have. The longhouse would have a great big booth. It'd be 20 people in there cooking beans and I don't know what all they cooked. I can't remember. Corn soup and beans and everything. We used to have all kinds of food in that one area. Now we're lucky to have 3. And it's because of that. She wants everybody to have that food service certificate. All of a sudden, it became urgent. Whereas we've been going to the fair for 150 years and nobody had a food service certificate and nothing happened. I don't think anybody got sick. I don't think anything. And there was always lots of food. Even that, you guys might not remember, but I remember even when the dining hall used to be filled with people. They were serving food in the dining hall, all kinds of different foods, and that dining hall would be full. All of the different people that would come out. Sometimes hockey teams would have booths to sell food, raise money, but it's not there no more, and that's what's keeping the people away. Because they're not going to come there for the kids to take rides if they've got nothing to do. Like I went last year, I didn't stay very long because there was nothing for me to do. There wasn't even no good food I liked. And it made it worse too because they were not from the reserve. They were from out of town. That's the big issue too with the food. They were all non-native food. There was only one, I think, 1 or 2 little ones from here. But the majority where you get your hamburgers and your French fries and all that kind of stuff, they're not usually from here. So that's got to get worked on. You got to do something. Get the food back. You're going to get the people back. I guarantee. I guarantee.
Can I have a mover to accept the chair's update? Moved by Dale. Second by Greg. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Let's go to number 4, Unity Building and External Government Relations and Justice Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. Yeah, we've been approached by Brant County to look into the Brant County Safety and Well-Being Plan. It's a survey initiative about our community, and it involves looking into mental health and addiction issues, youth service issues, transportation, housing, looking at different diversity and inclusion areas that we may find there's difficulty with our members with. This is it was a preliminary meeting with Brian Grice. He's going to be coming back with more information concerning how this would affect Six Nations and how it would be a positive for Six Nations participating in this survey. No decision has been made yet because we're looking at, of course, statistics and how they're handled. And a lot of statistics is what they're looking for. So that's something that's going to be brought back to committee with those concerns. The second is we were approached by the federal government as well as looking into global affairs and a commerce strategy that is outside the borders of Canada. It can include the Indo-Pacific area. And he was looking at if there would be interested businesses, and the government would help us in terms of getting those businesses contacts with other countries and so on and so forth. So then they are going to come back once we gave them what our businesses are all about, our culture, a little bit of background on Six Nations, and we asked them to come back to us to see specifically how Six Nations could participate in this strategy. So that's an ongoing issue. Those are 2 ongoing issues that we've been looking into. One of the other ones is it's just an offshoot. It's called the Data Governance Committee. It's spearheaded by Zach Miller. The counselors that are on that are Amos Key Jr., Dean Hill, myself, and any other counselors that want to be on there. I know we've had 1 meeting so far, and we looked at the mandate as well as the terms of reference. There will be more news on the committee as it moves forward, and it will be providing updates to the community. It is very good in terms of it look at demographics, it look at data sovereignty, it look at IT protection. as well as looking at how it will help us politically with statistical analysis of our own community and how we compare with others. I did have the opportunity to sit in on the opening of the Indigenous Family Space on the first floor of the Brantford General Hospital. I took the place of Amos Key Jr. He was off on bereavement and he could not give any opening remarks. It is a culturally appropriate gathering place for our members. It's again on the first floor. It's well decorated. And also it will supply a little space for our families because we do have big families and we do visit the hospital and some of our loved ones are in the hospital as patients. We can have a little space, an Indigenous space for us so that we can gather and relax. And they were also saying that food may be provided as well. So that was just, and the last thing is that Amos Key Jr. is part of the building committee from the new Brantford General Hospital. It's called the Reimagine Committee, and it's going to be looking, it's a long way off. They got a lot of work to do, a lot of fundraising to do. But that is, that, and I'm the alternate for Amos on that committee. So that's my update, Chief.
Elena?
Thanks. I just wanted to go back to Helen's comment about safe food handling. And I realize that for a long time we didn't need it. But however, the community does offer the safe food handling certification, and that happens twice a month. So for any community members that are interested in doing that certification, they can register at with Michelle Jameson. It happens at White Pines, and it's 445-2809.
Thank you for that, Elena. Dale?
Yeah, just to add to that too. So it's, I think probably in the last year that I was here, it was actually a policy that council approved. So it's not Cheryl just making up things. It actually is a policy because at that time there was some concerns and regulation in relation to any event that the elected council was sponsoring and where food was provided and the possibility of, I guess, any liability. So there was some concern. So it was addressed that to alleviate that was to have people take the training. I know it's a 1 day training that they can do that food handling course, but it is Cheryl's probably just following policy. So yeah, and I know tomorrow we can probably discuss that in our committee meeting with the community, so we can see what needs to be done or is required, I guess, to alleviate some of the issue to see how we can assist the fair, I guess.
Okay, great. Can I have a mover to accept the chair's update? Moved by Cynthia, second by Dean. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Can I have a motion to adjourn? To move to the in camera. Moved by Audrey, second by Dale. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Yawan, thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great night, everyone.